Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty radical, a whole new system for making decisions. And I'm not talking about just a philosophy. We're talking about an actual, executable operating system that's designed to code ethics into every single choice. So, yeah, let's boot it up and see how this thing actually works.
Okay, let's just start with a huge question right off the bat. Think about the biggest decisions being made out there by companies, organizations, you name it. Are they really built on the right foundation? Or is there a deep, systemic flaw in the way we operate? This whole explainer is about a project that says, yes, there is a massive flaw, and they think they've actually built the fix. And here it is. This is the core of that flaw. You see, the default setting, the sort of base code for so many of our modern systems, is optimized for just one primary outcome: profit. Everything else, environmental impact, human well-being, long-term sustainability, all of that often becomes a secondary concern. That is, if it's even considered at all.
So what if we could actually change that base code? This is where the Coherence Ethics Project comes into the picture. They aren't just suggesting a new set of rules, they've built what they call an operating system for ethics, and it's designed to completely rewire the logic of decision-making, right from the ground up.
Now, you really got to pay attention to the language here. This isn't some vague mission statement. The key words are executable and adaptive. This thing is designed to be a functional system that you can literally install and run, and one that learns over time. That makes it a practical tool, not just some theoretical ideal.
So here's the crucial part. This is how the OS actually works. It runs on what they call a non-negotiable priority stack. It goes like this: Earth first, then humanity, then long-term sustainability, and only then, way down at the bottom, is profit. They call it EHSP for short. So only if a decision satisfies those first three conditions and you have multiple options that pass the test, then and only then can you use profit as the tiebreaker. Profit isn't the goal, it's just the final filter.
And let's just double-click on that operating system idea for a second. In practice, this is what it means. You know how the OS on your computer manages all its programs and resources? Well, this ethical OS does the same thing for an organization. It manages how it makes choices and allocates its resources, but it does it all based on that EHSP hierarchy. Okay, so having a priority stack is a fantastic idea, but let's be real, how do you actually enforce it? How do you stop people from just, ignoring the rules when it gets inconvenient? Let's look at how this system builds and enforces its unbreakable rulebook. This right here is the heart of the whole enforcement mechanism. It's a simple mathematical rule: greater than or equal to 0. This number acts as an absolute, non-negotiable kill switch for any proposed action. But what on earth is it measuring?
It measures the Net Regenerative Index, or NRI. It's a pretty brilliant metric that combines all these key ecological and social factors into one single score. Now, if any proposed project or decision would result in a negative NRI, meaning it actually does more harm than good to the planet and to society, the system automatically rejects it, period. No appeals, no overrides, the decision is just dead.
Now, even with a kill switch like that, you've got to make sure the ideas that even get to that final stage are the best they can possibly be, right? Well, that's where the system's stress testing engine comes in. It's this intense gauntlet called FCOMega, and it's designed to forge ideas until they are as bias-resistant and ethically sound as possible. FCOMega isn't just another meeting or a brainstorm session. No, it's a highly structured 7-pass engine. The entire point is to systematically strip out all those common human errors, things like groupthink, confirmation bias, narrow thinking, to make sure that the final decision is as robust as it can possibly be.
The process has this really deliberate rhythm, and the first half is all about expansion. It literally forces a team to break out of their usual narrow thinking. So they'll start with 3 core ideas, but then they have to view the problem through 7 different lenses, actively go out and find 9 contrarian viewpoints, and ultimately generate 12 completely different ideas. The goal here isn't efficiency. It's about creating the widest possible landscape of possibilities before you even think about making a choice. And then the rhythm completely reverses into this super structured pruning process. Those 12 wild ideas are systematically stress tested, filtering them down from 12 to 9, then down to 7. Only the absolute most robust ideas survive, until the process finally crystallizes the top 3 outputs: a primary action, a backup contingency plan, and the specific metrics you need to track success.
And this is where the system gets brilliantly creative. To force new ways of thinking, teams use what they call adversarial lenses. They have to analyze their idea from the perspective of, say, a doomsday survivalist, or what it would look like after a total grid collapse. My personal favorite is alien reaction. Like, how would an outside intelligence even perceive this decision? It just completely forces you out of your comfort zone.
But look, no system is perfect, and honestly, one of the most compelling things about this whole project is its brutal honesty about its own weaknesses. They've actually stress-tested the system itself to find the bugs before they become critical failures. So let's take a look at the known vulnerabilities.
And these aren't just theoretical problems, these are classic human challenges. Measurement gaming is a huge one. That's where people figure out how to hit the target without actually achieving the real goal. Stakeholder fatigue is another real one. You can't ask for constant feedback without completely burning people out. And finally, in real crisis, that temptation to just bypass all the safeguards, it's always there.
What's really impressive, though, is that they are actively building patches for these bugs. So to fight measurement gaming, they're designing something called a random audit oracle. This tool would independently check the NRI data against objective sources, like satellite imagery, to see if the regeneration they're reporting is actually happening on the ground.
So, with a pretty clear understanding of its strengths and its weaknesses, what's next? Well, this isn't just a thought experiment. The project has a really ambitious and concrete roadmap for real-world deployment.
I mean, just take a look at this timeline. Pilots are slated to launch in 2025. By 2026, they're planning to have an adaptive policy engine that can tune rules in real time. And the long-term vision, by 2028 and beyond, is a fully modular and AI-augmented version 2.0, all stewarded by a global nonprofit. This is a serious long-term endeavor.
And this really captures the soul of the project. Its greatest strength isn't any one single feature. It's the core ethos of relentless self-interrogation. The system is designed to question itself, to find its own flaws, and to continuously improve. It's literally built for evolution. Which leaves us with the final, big question. We started by asking if our decisions are flawed. This project offers a potential solution, a new operating system built on a foundation of Earth, humanity, and sustainability. So could a system like this, a true OS for ethics, actually rewrite our future? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.